Hi, friends. Good evening and good morning to my friends in the US, the Eastern time zone. Welcome back to another webinar, another session based on specifically into the MVP development. And these webinars are specifically targeted, aimed for the learning and education of the startup founders across the world. Most of the founders get stuck at many a times with small issues that they are unused to when they have planned to launch a startup and work onto that. That's the reason we have been doing a series on this, and this series is surely going to help all the startup founders learn a lot of things which would help them increase their runway to months and also make sure to an extent that their startup is going to win, be successful. The ultimate aim of people getting into the risky job of starting something up new, a new idea, a new concept is basically just to make sure they do great, they grow, and the business picks up, right? So that's the reason I, being a business coach, I'm trying to help you out how a lot of things, a lot of puzzles into the whole break you could move around to make sure you're going the right path and the right angle wherein you can get your startup to a successful mode. So I hope you all are ready with a pen and paper so you could note down the important points and ponder over that over the weekend. And that should be helpful for you to take decisions faster with more clarity. The most important part in any startup is having a great clarity onto how you're going to build this, what's your marketing strategy, how you're going to distribute this, what is your right ICP, what's the kind of budgets you are going to spend for what, how you are going to pick up the right team, hire the development team for your MVPs, how you are going to make sure that the marketing team does the right effort, the process behind marketing, all these things one by one we will keep on running a series for you that should be helpful for you to grow further and with ease and avoiding the pitfalls that many of the founders had earlier. We are trying to learn from the faults that were made by the earlier founders, which forced them to close shop. Now, this learning is going to help you and make sure that you're going to win across. So, finally, welcome all. Uh, Today, we are talking about one of the most critical decisions you will need to make as a founder, that is choosing your MVP development team. See, today's 90% of the startups are into SaaS models or applications for enterprises which can run within their organizations. Then they slowly plan to move that into a SaaS model for easier reach and easier distribution across the world, multiple geographies. Here, the most important brick that you need to lay is on the foundation. The foundation is what your MVP is. If your MVP is not right, if you're not picking up the right team, you are moving the path towards death or trying to kill yourself for a period of time. The time is the time you have with your runway. So choosing your MVP team is the most important part. We will, uh, over the course of 1 hour, go through some of the points that you need to take care on how and what are the qualities, what are the checklists you should have while hiring a development team. Great. Now, the title Don't Hire Blind is intentional because this isn't about finding developers. There are lots available across the world. You may say it's not rocket science. Yes, it's not rocket science, but it is making the stand on which the rocket stands when it's being fired. So you understand the importance of that. If this stand cannot hold the weight, pressure, and the uplift that happens when it is fired, the whole plan goes gamut. Everything breaks down. So it's about making an informed choice that can either make or break your startup. Very, very difficult decisions to make, but these are the one of the major risks that you need to take, and make sure you take it with not your emotions, but you take it with your clarity into what you're getting into. Now we'll walk you through a practical guide to help you evaluate, to help you interview, and select the right team to bring vision to your life. And it's your life, because every startup, for them, the startup growing, the startup scaling is what life is for them. This matters because your MVP is the first real test of the market. After your MVP, you're going to test the market, you need a team to build that MVP for you. They should understand what the business logic is and also the technical aspects of developing that. They should be able to integrate the business logic into the technicality and build something that's valuable and takes you further into validation of your product. Now, hiring the wrong developer team. Yes, many a, many a, or many a number of startup founders had gone the wrong way. They got the wrong team. There may be multiple reasons. It's not that the guy who you hired is wrong always. There may be many other reasons also why the thing didn't go the way you wanted it to happen, and why there was frustration, friction between you and the development team, which finally ended the wrong way, and you didn't get what you wanted in the way it should have been built, with scaling in mind for future. Each hiring of a wrong team can cost you around 6 to 12 months of runway. And this is massive for a startup company. You understand? Because startups don't have the kind of funds that they can flush or play around with. They have limited funds. And the how to utilize and where to utilize and why to utilize, and the final is when to utilize, that is the most important decisions that a founder needs to take. And that can happen only when you have pure, clean clarity on what you want, when you want, and how you're going to achieve that. The difference between reaching profitability, hitting key milestones, or running out of cash, this is what is a wrong team. Now, what happens with the wrong team? It means missed deadlines, technical debt, rework at multiple times, low quality code, and team's morale issues. This is one thing that most of us forget. Only the defense forces take care of the morale of the team, because they know they are going to fight with their life. But other places, we normally miss this off as being accidental, or maybe something that's not that important in the operations. And we can look into the morale aspect when we have more funds or more profitability. No, it doesn't work that way. To get more funds and more profitability, you need the team that is ready to stand by you, to die by you, and to push you further towards success. Now, the cost with the wrong team keeps on compounding. You are paying salaries, maybe, or you are paying by the hour, that's also fine, and you are making zero progress. Then you drop everything off, go the new hiring process, hire new people again, get them up to speed. Then they find that uh, vetting the old codes, there is some problems, or the flow of data is not correct. Then the rebuild happens. Just think how much of time, effort, and money you are spending on this. Just because you didn't get the right teams, you didn't pay the right money for them. Because to get the right teams, you need to pay the right money. Don't tell me that someone whom you are paying good is going to drop you half the way and go. No, they won't, because they have the knowledge. And someone who has the knowledge has some basic etiquettes, manners, and principles on which they have grown. And those principles, unless you try to break those principles, bypass those principles, they're going to stay with you for a long time. Don't you think this is what has been happening? Think over where you got stuck. What was the thing that you did wrong? Just go back into your memory lane. Close your eyes, get into the memory lane. Go for think 30 seconds where all you felt that you have gone wrong, where all you felt that the team has gone wrong, and combine both with a connection. Then you will find whether it was only the team or you had done some bypasses, you had created some loopholes for yourself and for the team. Now, it happened, this is one of the examples that happened to a real founder. A $25K was spent, paid a team full of optimism in the initial stages, added a lot of functionalities and nice to haves. Then the delivery was the product didn't work. The delivery code that couldn't be delivered, the code that couldn't be used in real time and survived only testing at times. Now, what you lost, you need to build from scratch. You have lost months of runway. You have to start over again. The timing has been lost. The timing when you plan to go live has been lost. You are restarting it as a new founder now. This is not a horror story. It's a pattern, and that's preventable. Don't you think you want to prevent that? This is not meant to scare you off, but this is a pattern that happens repeatedly, and a good number of startup founders have gone through this. This talk is not about coding. It's about decisions that protect your business. We are not deep diving technically here. We are focusing on the bigger picture. You can see the bird's eye view or the eagle's eye view one step above that. The real value is in making smart decisions that safeguard your business, that can help your business grow. That is, think about the risk and how you are going to manage it. What's the strategy you are going to use it? How you are going to protect what you have built. Set the expectations clear. The major reason why many a times things break down is your deliverables and the development team's deliverables are not aligned. You both don't know where the delivery starts and where the delivery ends. That needs to be a full stop. It just cannot happen that everything is support. Just cannot happen that everything is bug. It just cannot happen that every small bell and whistles you wanted in an application is supposed to be a part of that. It cannot happen that way. We have to set expectations very clear, lay down lines to what level we need to build and connect that with the budgets. You cannot ask someone to develop Microsoft Word with a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. It doesn't happen. That's a very complicated thing. Lot of complications. If you look at from eagle's eye view, you find it's just a Microsoft Word. Once you start diving deeper into it, you find the complications that's coming up. And all these complications need time to build. We are talking about the business impact, not code implementation here. Okay. Now, what founders tell them? Basically, there is a normal tendency. I have been a techie guy. I have been working for 15 years with blah, blah, blah company, with this MNC, with that billion-dollar company, with this Fortune 300 company. Now, you have been part of a machine. You just have been a single small part of that whole machine. Now, your role is being the operator of the machine. You are the driver of the machine. There's a lot of difference in what you're looking at, the way you're looking at. It has to change. Unless doesn't change, still if you're looking like your last role when you worked as a project manager or as a senior team developer, you can't get things done. Now, most founders say, I just need developers, meaning I am good at project management. I understand architecture. I can tell them what to code. Then the next thing is the more features, the better product. This is absolutely wrong. It's absolutely just a hype. You should not believe in this. And you also think that the cheaper you go, the more you can reduce the cost, you are getting smarter. No. These beliefs are what are costing the founders months and months of money that can run into your marketing, into upgrades when you have developers. You cannot develop something without a clear product vision, a market understanding, a strategy. Without this, developers build the wrong way just to make it faster. They just give you a product based on what you tell them. You need to have a proper documentation, proper architecture built in with the future in mind. And here also, there's a caution for you. Don't look at the future 15 years down the lane, or don't look at the future when you are 15, when you are a $1 billion company. No. Look at 1 year or 1.5 years down the lane. When you have 4,000 customers or 3,000 customers, just build for that. At that stage, you are getting in money, getting money pumped in. You can rebuild the whole thing wherever you need. So different technologies, different architectures. Don't build everything at one go. Now, cutting corners on talent, tools, or research, that's inefficient. That's an inefficient way of working. It will backfire. And surely, I had a lot of experiences with developed founders who have been just trying to cut corners everywhere. And after 6 months, they find they're nowhere. Think if ever you had such a situation. Rebuilding the things, fixing the bugs, pivoting from the original plan, adding on additional modules. These cost much more money if you have, unless you have planned that in the earlier stage. Find out the real cost. The three beliefs are bleeding founders every day. They're getting dry every single day, and that's reducing the runway they have for themselves. Now, the reason why MVPs fail, and it's rarely a technical problem, okay? The code ships, the product launches, and then nothing happens. You are sitting, waiting like a seagull, trying to find if you're going to get something out of the waters, out of the ocean. MVP failures is 90% of times a strategy and execution mismatch. It's not always on the developer's head. Yes, but the developer's head is an easy way to go to get ourselves resolute that I was not responsible, and we do that. The wrong scope, the wrong priorities, the wrong team dynamics. And finally, your team getting demotivated. Somehow they just wanted to finish and just leave it across for you. Now, in these scenarios, what happens? What the founders blame? They blame the bad codes, they blame slow developers, they blame the budgets. And what actually fails? What actually fails is an unclear scope. There is no user validation. You have never spoken to your customers before you launched. You don't know what they want. And a misaligned strategy. To be honest, the technical execution is rarely the bottleneck. Yes, there are times when things are screwed up, but it's rarely the bottleneck. The bottleneck is on the clarity on what you are building, why you are building, and for whom you are building. Then the final clarity on, do your customers really need it? Have they accepted it? Have they spoken to you that yes, this is something we need it and we are ready to pay for this? Have you asked yourself this question? Think over. The founder sitting here, think over, listening to this, think over. How many founders have spoken to their ICP, at least 50 people, and maybe had a cup of coffee with them if they're in the same geography, and ask them what they really need, what their real pain is. Have you asked them? You assume, you imagine that this can be the problem, and you start building. Now, I'll go through the 5 costly mistakes that founders make. It doesn't look very nice here. It doesn't look very soothing to go to a webinar like this where your errors are being pulled up and flagged off as showcased to others that these are the major mistakes that you have done. Nobody likes to hear that. But yes, these are needed to make sure you win. I'm not here to make you happy, make you to sympathize with your problems. I'm here to tell you that these are the mistakes you made. Make sure you correct them and grow and earn money. If this is what you're looking at, yes, you're in the right place. You can always even talk to me when you need. I can guide you where you're getting stuck. These mistakes are not hypothetical, okay? They show up on almost every failed MVP stories. These are real patterns, not theoretical problems. These mistakes appear repeatedly across different kinds of MVP projects. Now, we are about to discuss practical, actionable failures that founders encounter. This is critical and need to pay attention. Now, keep your notebook and pen ready. This will help you as something that you can use as a Bible for you, for your growth. Make sure once you jot it down on your paper, you go by it daily and make sure you don't make these mistakes. I can assure you, you're going to get successful. Success is a light in front of you. You just need to reach there. The first one is hiring based on cost. The cheapest cost, cheapest quote feels like a win. That's a human psychology, You go to a store, you find something that is cheapest with a nice label, you find, yes, I have one. And this is that is the thing you may not even need, but you purchase it just because it's on discount sale. Same way, it happens with the developments. You ask for quotes at multiple people, you don't even have the time, effort, and energy to look into the details, what does their experiences match, does their quality of works compare, what does their earlier customers speak about. You just look at the last line, the cost, until you find new invoices for the rework coming in. You're happy till the time you feel successful, you feel you're winning till the time the new invoices for the rework come in. Low rates often means hidden cost, missed deadlines, poor architecture, and the code you will have to throw away at least after the MVP. You can't even use anything out of it. Now if you tell me that the problem with the developers based out of this country, based out of that country, no. It's just because you're going for cheap, they have to deliver you something within that cost. The cost will increase if you need more luxury. They need profits. They need leeway to bring in more teams, to bring in a senior architect, to have 2 people review the architecture. They need money. And if you think that a 1-2 year of development experience guy can develop a SaaS model for you, then you're on the wrong path, you're on the wrong field. Just look back when you were working, how did it work? How did the systems work in a company that you worked? Did it work this way? 2 years guy was handed over a project and for delivery it. Did it ever happen that way? You had layers of people who used to support, guide, draw things, make the architecture, get proper QA done. Now, you're not wanting all those things, but you want the same product like Apple developed. How does it work out for you? Will it ever work for you? Be humanly. Try to think over. It won't. See, cheap teams don't save you money. They defer the real cost. That's all. And it's not their fault. It costs more in the long run for you. The number two, no clear MVP scope. You start by saying, I want to build another Facebook. Now, does it work that way? Can a Facebook be created, delivered within a time frame of 60 days or 90 days? No. Can that be developed within a budget of maybe $50,000 or $100,000? No. Why don't you understand that? You say build everything, and the feature request keeps on growing. Timeline stress, budget evaporates long back. The team builds but ships nothing. They're forced to. Now, what should happen is a focused MVP has one core job. That is one core problem that you have found out. You need to build that and prove that the idea works. Everything else is distraction. So make your MVP scope pretty small. Focus on the core functionality. Focus on the core pain area of the customer. Get the validation done with that. Don't go on for all the colors, the bells, whistles. Nobody needs those. If you want to travel from point A to B, you need something that can take you from point A to B. And if it takes you there, once you're comfortable with that, your pain is solved, then you go further and think what kind of luxuries you want added into that, how comfortable the travel should be. Those things come secondary. Hope you're understanding this. Now, the third mistake is no product thinking. So developers basically, if you're just getting a development team, there are two people to develop with 3 years or 4 years experience, they have been writing codes. They will write code for anything you ask for, not what your users actually need. Without the product thinking baked into your team, without the product thinking the project manager has there, the QA has there, you just technically get what you want. It may be technically correct, but commercially is useless. Your customers won't be looking for that. So the major thing is you need every developer in the team to understand what are you trying to achieve by this. It's not a secret. They are developing it for you. Get the NDA done like we do. We sign off NDAs even before we start talking about technology, we start talking about the idea. Just to make sure whatever I say and whatever you say, whatever you share and whatever I share, all are protected. Our content, our expertise, our knowledge is protected. It's not played upon. That's the best way of doing it. And make the scope of work pretty clear with 100% clarity. And never make any change in the scope of work. No add-ons till you finish the first scope of work. You finish the first scope, then go for the add-ons. If you have the leeway, if you think your customers need that, even before validation, then only go for that. The next is no visibility. You hired two people, and week one, they say they are working on that. And what is that? They are keeping on working. No specifics. The answers are vague. By week three, they come back with almost ready. Still, you don't have anything to see. It always has to be milestone-based deliveries. Every milestone, you need to see something that's working, that's being in a state that you can play around with that. It runs. Week 6, again, just a few more things. They're still doing the QAs. And week 10, you still find there is no demo. This is not how a development goes. Development has to be fully 100% milestone based. Each milestone should have something that can be put up on a server and can be tested and can be run. Else it is not a milestone. Unless you can see something, it's not a milestone. And if it is not a milestone, you should know it earlier that the third milestone is something I cannot see. I cannot test. Maybe I can see the codes, but I cannot actually test in a live environment. And that's how you should be getting the development running. On the contrary, the way you're running, that's not development what we call. That's a black box running your runway, nothing else. With no visibility, even after 10 weeks, what's happening, that means you are sitting black, blindfolded. The next is the major thing is overbuilding before validation. This is one problem that all founders have. It's not a technical problem. It's not a knowledge problem. It's not an environment problem. It's basically an emotional characteristic of a human being. You think of this startup as a baby and just think over at your home how much you take care of your baby. So you keep on polishing it, keep on bringing in new clothes, keep adding in small things just to make it happy, just to make it smile, just to make it look good. Look good for whom? For you, not for the baby, for you. And you learn, keep on burning money before you learn anything. Unless you give this to a customer, your ICP, how do you know that this is what they want? Use lean validation methodologies. Talk to 100 people or 50 people. Give them this. Do a small marketing. Get another 200, 300 people onto this. Let them start using it. And once they start using it, when they start paying for that, is when you get real feedback. Non-paying people or non-paying customers come back to you with absurd feedbacks. Everything in the moon they would like to have there. Ask a paying customer, he will tell you exactly what is needed to make sure he keeps on paying you further. That's all. That's the only thing you need to know. The updation that is needed to make sure that that customer keeps on paying you regularly and he's not dropping you. If you can make that, you are successful. So get customer feedback early. Don't hire the wrong people. You hired without a system. How it happens is you didn't have any system. You just spoke to somebody, messaged somebody, he found good, he gave a proposal, you hired him. You should have a system for that. Now the question, how to choose the right MVP team? 6 signals that can separate teams who will protect your vision from those who will drain it. This looks good, no? This looks exciting for you now. Now is the real uh, thriller into this. Let's go deeper into this. You will have a practical checklist on how to evaluate any potential MVP team. Let's dive into the 6 signals. The first one is, do they ask the right questions? Before touching about the tech stack, does the right team ask you about the users, the problem, and how will you validate success, who this is for, what problem does it solve? These are the right signs for you. Not straight away jumping into tech. We will use React, Next.js, and AWS to host it. No, not into that. They should know what this is about first. These are the critical questions that will signal that these guys are going the right way. The next, are they the one asking about who uses this and why do they use that? A very typical and tough question to answer. But does someone ask you that? Does someone ask you what is your business logic? How you are going to earn money from this? Then, how will you learn from the early adopters? Do you have a plan for that? What is your launch plan? What's the budget for marketing you have kept aside? How do you plan to distribute? And how will the real users know this? The real team who knows how to do an MVP, who knows how to work with a startup, will ask you these questions before talking about codes or technology or with frameworks. Those are last things that come in. Those are not important. There are multiple frameworks, multiple styles, you can do it. But these are the things that will help you make or die. And this is a very great signal. Check on to this before you talk to the next team. Then, the third step is the best teams have one rare skill, the discipline to say no. They should be able to reduce your 10 feature vision to one core feature and a usable product in weeks, not months. This is the right team that you should have. Not teams who can help you keep on growing features, but teams who can help you reduce your features to help you validate the system early on. This sounds exciting, right? No one has asked you about this. Has anyone told you? Good number of teams have been telling you what more can be added into it, not what can be reduced. Actually, an MVP team should be able to reduce your core feature, unwanted features. Because they know this is not validated. The next is the transparency system. What is their plan for transparency? Is it weekly updates, real progress in plain English, not technical jargon? And when can we start seeing the demo builds? Which all milestones will have releases that can be seen on the server, you can play around with? And what are the milestones? And in each of the milestones, what is it that you are going to do? What is it that's going to deliver? Now, to achieve that delivery, the team needs to ask you, these are the points that you need to deliver to make sure, help me deliver my part. If these things are cleared, you have a clarity on that, you don't have issue with the team. These teams will be awesome and great. They will bring you what you need, not bring you what you dream, bring you what you need. There's a lot of difference. I'll tell you once more, bring you what you need and not bring you what you dream. That should be the mantra for any team that you have with you. The next is the execution speed. MVP should move fast. As usual, they should be fast. If someone cannot give you something that is working in 4 to 6 weeks, ask them why. Stretched timelines are always signals for a bloated scope, and the team should be able to cut that scope, or the team is overcommitted elsewhere. If a team comes and tell you, I cannot start this project tomorrow, I can start next week only, accept that on face value, he is being honest with you. Or maybe he can start only the next month. He is being honest with you. Don't pressurize him to start on tomorrow or the next week. That's a wrong way of doing it, because it's going to affect you in the long run. Your project should also take a toll somewhere. So we need to have a team that can give you a testable product in 4 to 6 weeks or maximum 8 weeks. Could take 3 to 4 months minimum is like your scope is too high, too big, or the team is overcommitted. It's a very great signal for you. One liner can give you ideas whether you should go ahead with this team or not. If they're telling you they should take 3 to 4 months, ask them why. And when do you plan to start? If you get the correct answers, the work effort is 4 to 6 weeks, then you're right. Else, you need to think over. The final thing, the NDA and the ownership clarity. Think over this. Don't you feel NDAs are very important in anything, any business you do? It's because the team also puts in things that's their IP. You also put in things that's your IP, and both needs to be protected. NDA is for both of them, both the development team and for the startup founder. Normally, the trend is that it's only important for the startup founder. Why an NDA for development team? No, a development team needs an NDA. What I do first is, before I get into weaving the codes or weaving the ideas, I get an NDA signed off. It's my need, because whatever inputs I'm giving there is under an NDA, cannot be given out to third parties. Same way, whatever he is giving to me is under NDA, cannot be leaked out. It's very important for both parties to be safe. Safe is a very great name in this, great word into this. Else, at some point of time, you find something else going on somewhere else. Avoid that. Make sure both understand each other's responsibilities and have very clean clarity on who is having the ownership of what. Is the code that's written, you are the owner of that? Is the IP clearly assigned? No gray areas? No handshake deals? Any confusion here gets risky and very expensive. And that too pretty fast. You'll not know it today. Within 3 months, you will know it's getting risky for you. So don't get into that. First thing is sign the NDA. Then go ahead with the next step. Now, what works in real time, real life? We are moving from theory to practice, showing what actually works when team execute it well and when they don't. Use this as a bridge to introduce concrete case studies or examples of teams who have been doing great. You'll get an idea by looking into their case studies. You'll understand what went right and what went wrong. Start with the workflow, not code. Get onto the drawing board first. It is for the teams, but make sure they follow this model. The teams should be getting onto a drawing board. They should first cut down unnecessary features before the first sprint so the build phase moves faster and stays focused. And make it a mini case from 12 features to launch. 12 features on the list is what the founder comes for the full vision of the product. Reduce to core 2 features. Team should help you scope this down and make it a proper documentation for you. Get real users, real feedback. Launch it fast. Launch it in 5 weeks or 6 weeks maximum and get real users, get their feedback, as I mentioned earlier. And then once that is done, build what the customers need, what the users need, not what was assumed they need, right? So always this is one of the problems that happens. The founder comes with a big list and he feels this is what the customers need. He's assuming, he's imagining that the customer may need that. That needs to be cut out. We should start building the Go functionality and then ask what the customer needs and build from there. Now, finally, a question for you here. Look at me. Is this something important? Do you think you're one of these founders standing on the crossroads, not knowing what to do? You're stuck somewhere, not knowing which way to follow? Okay, here you go. Do you really need a full product? Or do you really need a proof that the idea works? Tick that. Are you building for the users or are you building for your vision of the product that you have? What's the riskiest assumption that you haven't tested yet? That's what probably your MVP should answer. The riskiest assumption is the core problem. And that will be answered only when the users use it. Now, before you hire any team, ask these 5 questions. What is the smallest version of this product? How fast can we launch? How will we test with real users? What will not be built right now? And how will progress be tracked a weekly or fortnightly basis? If a team can't answer these 5 questions clearly, keep looking for next guys. Note down these questions. Number 1, what's the smallest version of this product? Number 2, how fast we can launch? Number 3, how will we test the real users? 4, what will not be built right now rather than what will be built right now? And the 5th and the final one, How will the progress be tracked? Either weekly or fortnightly. How can I track the progress? If someone answers this, yes, they are the right guys. Now, if you're planning to build up an MVP soon, yes, you have the answers, you need the questions, you have the questions that need to be answered. Do get in touch with us. Let's have a free clarity call. I'm not humping on the word free just because it's free. I just want an option for you to discuss with someone who knows what is building up an MVP and launching it and can help you gather insights in a 15-minute session or a 10-minute session that can give you insights. After that, you want us to help you more, going deeper into that? Yes, we are always available. We can help you with the breakdown of the scope of MVP. We can help you take choppers and cut on these features, functionalities that are not needed for your core product, core value that you're giving to your customers, and everything under full NDA as usual. NDA is the base of everything. Without this world cannot run. Sounds exciting? Sounds interesting? Do connect with us and let's see how we can help you out. Now, one liner for you: founders don't fail because they build too little, they fail because they build too much, and that too with the wrong team. You must not have heard this anyone, anywhere, but yes, founders don't fail because they build a smaller product. Now, thank you. We appreciate taking your time onto this. Reinforce the key value proposition that you are planning to build with for the customers. Work on to that. Look at the points that you have noted down. See how you can work onto them. Feel free to visit my website. You can see below, consultwithkrishna.com, and also get in touch from there. Any help, guidance, support, advice, our experiences are available for you. Let's be in touch. Any questions? Available for the questions? Let's go ahead. Okay, thank you. We have gone through that session and given direct clarity to people who have come on chat also. Feel free to connect and also share this to your other co-founders, maybe in Y Combinator or direct founders who have been working in stealth. Share to them, they can have an understanding of why startups fail and they can avoid those routes and make sure they're going into a successful mode. I want to help founders at least from the current ratio of failures to 50% less. I want them to be more successful. That's the aim and goal of my life. I'm working towards that. It's not about making money. It's about making people more successful and more valuable and giving more value to the people of this world with solving their problems. Have a great evening, a great day. Enjoy, and let's be in touch. Bye.